Hey everyone! This week we're going to be doing something a little bit different for our asynchronous assignment. We're going to be doing an artist reflection. You'll have two options on how to submit your artist reflection. You can either print out this form here that I have included in your Google Classroom and directly write on it, take a picture, and upload that to Artsonia, or you can do a recording similar to what I'm doing now using your Chromebook and record your response and upload that video to Artsonia. I've included in the Google Classroom a tutorial on how to use your Google Chromebook's video and where to find it to record your answer, if that's the path that you choose. So let's get started. This week's artist reflection is going to focus on the self-portrait. So here's the example that I'm going to be using. Now you might be thinking, Ms. Bussert, this here does not look like a self-portrait. Well, the interesting thing about self-portraits is that it doesn't actually have to look like the person. It can be the idea of what the person would like to share with its viewer or how they kind of see themselves. It doesn't have to be the exact replication of what they actually look like. So this is where that awesome reflection really comes into play. So how would I go about reflecting on this piece? So the first thing we're going to be thinking about is what you see. And what you see, those are the facts about the artwork. You're not making anything up. You're just thinking what is actually there, and that is what you are stating. And the best way to go about thinking about the facts is really looking at the elements of art. Now, if you remember, I've been kind of starting to teach you about the elements of art in the other projects that we've been doing. The map of me, we focused on the element line, and the collagraphs, either by the Rex Ray collagraphs or the truck collagraphs using that cardboard cutting out and the rubbings, we focused on shape. And so these are the elements of art here: line, shape, color, value, form, texture, and space. When you're looking at the facts of a piece of artwork, think about these elements of art. So for example, do I see line anywhere indicated on this piece of artwork? So I do see that there's kind of an implied line, a separation of space from the dark part of the background to the kind of lighter brown of the foreground or the middle ground. And that line, to me, is separating those two colors. I also see some line here on this structure and trying to see, oh yeah, maybe this curved line in the middle of this blobby thing here. Okay, notice how I'm not saying anything like face or book, because although that's what it looks like to me and what I think it is, factually, I don't really know, right? I can't sit next to Salvador Dali and ask him. Unfortunately, I think that'd be really cool if I could, but I can't, so I'm just using my facts of what I see. Okay, so let's look at shape. This structure here is a very organic shape, right? I couldn't put it into a circle category or square or rectangle. It is very loose. It reminds me of something you would see in nature. So I would put that as an organic shape along with these darker structures here. This on the bottom looks like a geometric form, right? It does look three-dimensional, how the artist created it. And then I see a cylinder shape here and a few other of those shapes repeated throughout. There's a square in the background and another rectangle right about here. Now let's go to color. It does look like Salvador Dali really used a neutral color scheme. I don't see any bright colors like reds or blues. I do see very neutral browns, golden colors, maybe some black in there as well. The background here behind the structure is darker, and as we move down the picture, it gets a little lighter, right? We have this light brown and then this kind of golden color. And I also notice that the golden color is also reflected up here, so almost like the artist purposely is drawing my eye up and down. Let's talk about value. Value is that difference between dark and light. And I think Dali uses value brilliantly in this self-portrait, because otherwise I think the structure would be lost if it was all the same lightness and darkness. He has this dark shadow right here, right up against this highlight that helps separate that space. This background is darker than this organic shape. So that also makes that organic shape stand out. It emphasizes it. Let's talk about form a little bit. Form, you see this book here, or oops, I said book, but whatever. This structure here that looks like a three-dimensional form. And this here also looks three-dimensional, right? Dali added shadows and highlights where to show that it has shape and it almost looks three-dimensional and tangible. Let's talk about texture. So now this artwork is called soft self-portrait. And when I read that word soft, I think that the texture, that is a type of texture, soft. If I were to touch this, and put my hand out and touch that surface, it does look like it would be really soft to touch. Nothing looks like it would be pointy or prickly. It definitely does look soft. And what about space? I noticed that Dali really took up the space, right? There's not that much negative space, meaning the stuff behind it, right? Really stretched it out, took up the space. It was important. He's emphasizing this piece here. Okay, so those are the facts. That's just what I see. And I really do like using the elements of art to help me guide those facts. I did put on your slideshow, on the last slide, I put the elements of art here as a reminder. For my 4th and 5th graders, if you really wanted to look at the principles of art, you can do that as well. But I think for this assignment, we can just focus on the elements of art for now. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about the I think portion. So this part here, I really wish I can move this. There we go. For the I think portion, you are going to now start to guess kind of what you think the artist is trying to show. So I think this is supposed to be a face. And I think because I see something that looks like eyes, eyebrows, a mouth, possibly a mustache. It's a really funny looking face, right? That's not what we really look like, but it does look like it should be a face. I think that these structures here look like it's trying to hold up something that looks like it could possibly melt away. So I think that those are purposely placed to show that it's hoisting it up and keeping it upright. It is on top of what I think is a book based on the form that he created, and the word soft self-portrait, I think, is to describe this here. Why I think this is a self-portrait besides the title, I do recognize that this is a mustache, and this mustache I know is the mustache that Salvador Dali does actually have on his face. But I do think that he's trying to portray more of a feeling rather than an exact replica of himself. Like maybe he feels droopy or sad and he feels like he needs support from other people to hold him up, So I think that he's trying to get something across to us. Maybe also the color scheme adds to that emotion. If there was a lot of pinks and reds and yellows and blues, maybe I wouldn't think he was so sad or empty. What do you wonder? Now we go to the wonder part. What would you ask the artist if they were sitting right next to you and you can get answers, right? So I wonder, why did Salvador Dali choose to keep his eyes empty? What was he trying to tell us? Why did he choose this organic shape for his face and the really neutral colors? Was there something he was trying to show us as a viewer? Is there a reason why he feels as though, is there a reason why, the artwork is kind of melting and dripping down? So I would ask those kinds of questions to get a feeling of where he was in his mental state during this time and how he felt about himself to do this kind of self-portrait. So what you're going to be doing is you are going to, let me move this aside. You are going to be looking at these 3 pieces of artwork and you're going to choose one. You can choose this one here, this middle, and this last one. If you notice, they're all completely different, right? Choose one of these pieces to do your artist reflection. Take a look at the sheet. I see, I think, I wonder. And what are the facts? Then what do you think? What do you think the facts are trying to tell you? And then what do you wonder? What would you ask the artist if they were next to you? I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing your artist reflection. I think these are 3 awesome self-portraits, and I can't wait to see what you post. Have a great day. Bye.